Effects of poor nutrition on low-income African American children. In order to properly grow and develop, eating healthy during your childhood years is extremely important. People aged 2 years and older should practice proper healthy eating patterns, which include a variety of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, a variety of proteins, and low-fat dairy products. School-aged children grow at a slower rate but are still growing significantly while being very physically active, leading them to require more nutrition. Protein and calcium are two very important aspects of a well-rounded diet. Proteins help build, maintain, and repair body tissue, which is very important for growth. On average, you require 2 to 3 servings daily. Calcium builds strong teeth and bones. Calcium deficiencies can lead to bone density and osteoporosis later on in life. Rapid development happens from infancy to adolescence. During this stage of growth, nutrition is vital. The best indicator of a child's well-being is growth. Poor nutrition has many effects on the body that cannot be seen with the naked eye. It is obvious that poverty affects education and impacts the students. We see some common cognitive deficiencies like shortened attention spans, being highly distracted. Exposure to lead in older rundown buildings is also linked to a poor working memory. Students who live in poverty oftentimes live in single-parent homes. With single-parent homes, many times the parent is left to work long hours and have inadequate rest. Resulting in a negative home environment, this can lead the child to act out in school and cause a disconnect to others. The key to physical readiness is nutrition. Oftentimes, low-income families cannot afford to purchase fresh foods or are not educated on well-balanced meals. If you do not have well-balanced meals, you are more susceptible to illness, which can lead to chronic health issues. Physical activity may also be affected depending on the area you reside. Many times, low-income children live in unsafe areas which restrict their outdoor play. The brain of a malnourished child is less developed. This signals dullness. As you can see, malnutrition affects every part of your body. It has been shown that students who come from low-income households have a harder time engaging in the classroom setting. They often possess smaller vocabulary. Children from low-income families, on average, hear 13 million words by the age of 4. Children from middle-class families, on average, hear 26 million words by the age of 4. In upper-income families, they hear 46 million words by the age of 4. That's 3 times as many words as the children from the lower-income homes. Low socioeconomic status leads to financial hardship and many times depression, making it feel as though the child has no drive. This, however, could be learned helplessness. It is important to remember that effort can be taught. Oftentimes, if students feel that they are or will be below average, it is shown that they do not bother to try, resulting in poor academic achievement. Having a home where one parent is absent and experiencing disorder at a young age can make one's mind develop into an insecure mindset. If a parent is constantly stressing over food and healthcare, it is likely that they are creating an unstable atmosphere for their child. Distress has an effect on brain development, academic success, and social competence, while also impairs behavior. This can result in disconnection from your academic work or from your peers. Poor nutrition affects African American students largely due to the fact that approximately 40% of African American children live below the poverty line. Children coming from low-income homes will typically not be able to spend as much money on groceries. Students from low-income homes may receive free lunches at school, but this is only one meal a day. Many African American school-age children live in low-income areas and attend high-poverty schools. High-poverty schools are defined as schools where at least 75% of the student population is eligible for free or reduced-price school lunches. As you can see from the graph, in 2014, 42.6% of students of color attended a high-poverty school, whereas only 7.6% of white students attended a high-poverty school. In the school year of 2014 to 2015, Approximately 50% of Hispanic and Black students attended a high-poverty high school. In comparison, the number of white students who attended a high-poverty high school was 8%. Food deserts are defined as rural or urban areas where people lack access to affordable, healthy diets. These areas in particular do not have fresh fruits or vegetables easily available due to the absence of grocery stores or farmers markets. Areas that are considered food deserts often have convenience stores as the only source of food in the immediate area. Many areas that are considered food deserts are also low-income communities. Unfortunately, many African American students live in areas classified as food deserts. If these students bring lunches from home, it is likely that they lack healthy options. Processed foods are more often found in their lunches because of the food available to them near their homes. A study was done to show the number of supermarkets available to people living within different communities. In communities that were majority African American, 8% of communities had one or more local supermarkets available to them. When the study was done in white communities, the results showed 31% of white communities had one or more supermarkets available.
Across Virginia, approximately 17.8% of the population lives in a food desert.
We're here suffering. All we ask is that you listen to us.
I think that all of us can take some responsibility for not being as sensitive.
I don't like it. They should at least have one grocery store in this area that is a grocery store, not a damn junk store.
It's eye-opening that there's that much need.
No fresh produce, 3 miles.
Keeps me up at night. The thought, the idea that children are going to bed hungry.
These people here are really hurting. They're hurting bad. And not only they're hurting, they're hungry.
More and more we're seeing what a complex problem it is in these low-access, low-income communities.
Ultimately, if you continue to eat cheap and unhealthy food, it's going to lead to poor health. It's going to lead to obesity. It's going to lead to a lot of the diseases such as high blood pressure.
We have a location just here in our neighborhood that was a grocery store. It's now a dialysis center. And it tells the story. This is what happens when food access moves out. Lack of health moves in.
Last year, the food banks in Virginia actually distributed over 142 million pounds of food and grocery products.
The governor and I are very concerned about the fact that in Virginia there are over 300,000 food insecure Virginia children, and that's just not a place that we want to be as a Commonwealth.
It's so important these children get all the food they can handle and need.
This is not only a local problem, this is a global problem. This is an epidemic.
Some challenges that school counselors may face are confidentiality. Counselors must maintain confidentiality. Counselors may not be able to adequately help students seek services for their families, help them apply for services, etc., without breaking confidentiality. Counselors can encourage students and their families to apply for help, but essentially it is the student or family's choice. The second problem is students are hungry. Students are coming to school hungry. Their only meal of the day may be the lunch that they receive at school. They may not be getting breakfast or dinner at home. Without food, a student's academic growth may be stunted. The last problem is school is not in session during holiday breaks or the summer. Students will go without meals during these times of the year due to low family income. Some ways school counselors can advocate for low-income African American students are by creating a safe environment where students feel they can express the problems they or their families are facing. School counselors can engage in decision-making/talks for school food programs. These programs can be after-school meal programs, backpack programs, or summer meal programs. If these programs are not in discussion, they can be brought up to school administration. Advocating for some type of program to be put in place could be part of a school counselor's job. They can research various programs and present the needs students have for these programs at their schools. School counselors can also work with students and their families to get them aid from government or other aid programs that they may fit the criteria for. School counselors can speak with students' families and work with them to unite the school community and focus on student success. Finally, counselors can possibly partner with local food banks or pantries in order to provide a program such as the after-school meal program or a backpack program for the weekends for students who are in severe need of food.